I was 14 when I started cutting, in the 8th grade. 14 when I thought that a line across my skin would make the pain inside go away. But what I didn't know is that those lines I would make would only take the pain for a little while. They were temporary. At first, I started with whatever I could find at my school. I would gouge out my skin with pencils. I would use things I could find in my shop class or my home ec class. Later on, I started using knives and pins. Then it became anything I could get my hands on. Finally, I started using razor blades, and that has been my method ever since. Many people will ask me why I cut. It's a form of control. It lets me feel, or it numbs me. It helps calm me down when I'm in danger of freaking out. Are some of my standard answers, but it has also become my biggest addiction, something that I'm almost afraid to live without. Like I said, I started when I was 14, and that was probably the mildest year I had with cutting. To be honest, I was experimenting with it, not knowing that it would soon become my biggest addiction, bigger than drugs, drinking, and even starving myself. The next year, in 9th grade, I didn't cut that much. Every once in a while whenever things got too much for me to handle, but nothing serious like it would get later on. My sophomore year of high school was probably one of the worst years of high school for me. I became extremely suicidal and was cutting every day, hiding it from the world and my parents. But I wasn't the smartest kid, and since I was trying to hide it from my family, I started using a pin at school when I wasn't at home. Eventually, a friend of mine caught me and reported it to the guidance counselor. I was given a choice: tell my mom myself and have the school call later, or have the school call now with me in the room. I chose the first option, hoping to calm the waters. Things didn't go as I had planned, but they went much better than when my dad found out. My dad found out I was cutting through a family member and received a phone call during Christmas break. Let's just say things did not go well. Junior year started off well. My friends said they noticed a change in me, that I was the Sarah they remembered from when we were younger. Little did any of us know that that was soon to change. I made it through most of the year without a knife coming to my skin. But as spring came and things became more stressful in my life, as more and more challenges were thrown my way, I started caving. I again resorted to cutting to try to ease the pain inside. But again, it didn't work. It was temporary. A friend of mine found out I was cutting. She saw the scars during a musical practice. She texted me the next weekend and asked if she could tell a teacher, when both of us knew and trusted about what I was doing. My first response was no. Hell no. But after she said she really felt she needed to, that it was really stressing her out, I agreed to it. I had a class with this teacher every day, so the next day came, and she came up to me and asked me to talk. She then said she had contacted the guidance counselor at my school. I again was faced with the decision of telling my parents myself or having the school tell them. I again chose to tell them myself. Then came my senior year. It started off really well. I started to turn my life around, and then tragedy struck. One of my closest friends was in a near fatal car accident, and I was terrified I was about to lose him. And then one of my teachers committed suicide. And that's when I really started to go downhill. So once again, I took the knife to my skin and tried to bleed the pain away. But this time it wouldn't go away. No matter how much I cut or how deep I tried, it wouldn't go away. This was the first time I left lasting scars. There were 5 lines across my arm, very hard not to notice. So I started wearing bracelets to cover them. Hence, my bracelet collection got started. With help and friends, I was able to stop for a record of 8 months. A record I have not been able to beat since. Next, I went off to college, and I was doing okay at first. But as I felt more and more alone in my new world, as I felt all my supports ripped out from under me, I took blades to my skin. I cut my arm so many times that soon my arm wasn't enough. I moved to my legs and my hips. I began carving words into my thighs, words like hate, lost, and finally struggled to hide it at first, but people started to question, why do you wear long sleeves all the time? It's so hot out here. Or, what's with all the bracelets, Minner? It became hard to hide, but I couldn't break this addiction. I battled cutting off and on my entire freshman year of college. At one point, I had about 200 scars on my body. Compared to the 5 I had before, I considered that a problem. How was I going to hide them now? It was a struggle to change in the locker room for soccer, or in my room if my roommate was around. A struggle to wear a bathing suit, shorts, or even a tank top. Even short sleeves became a challenge. My bracelets no longer covered all the scars. But this year became the worst year of cutting I ever had. Over the summer, I was able to stop cutting, and I truly thought I was working through my addiction. But then a situation in my life came up that I had no idea how to deal with. So again, I resorted to cutting. It was the only thing I knew how to do to deal with the pain, even if it was only temporary. But this time was different. I was still using razor blades, but I was cutting deeper and deeper. I was cutting more frequently than I ever had, several times a day on the same spots. I cut in new places because my body was running out of room. I was running out of skin to cut. There were times that I couldn't get the bleeding to stop. Times I lost so much blood that I would almost be passed out on the floor of my room. But I tried to keep it to myself, tried to hide it. Even when I could barely stand up at practice, I still kept pushing, still kept cutting. Then came the day I cut too deep. Ended up having to go get my wrist glued back together. As much as it scared me, even that didn't stop. I still cut around that part of my wrist, still deeper. Then I got sent home on a medical leave. My cutting continued, still deeper, but less frequent. As of now, I haven't cut in 3 weeks. Almost a month now, actually. You're probably asking what has changed. I made a promise to change. I made a promise not to. A promise to fight, and I intend to keep that promise. And I know I've said that before, but I really am fighting now. I am. So yes, I'm covered in scars. So many that I've lost count. Do I wish they would disappear? A lot of times, yes. But there are times I also hope they don't, because I hope that someday my scars will be used to help someone. And someday I will change lives and be able to help someone. I don't know. Maybe that will happen. Maybe it won't. Only time and life